The market was wild at the time. I mean, it was wild for startups. You could go out and raise on insane valuations. And so term sheets were like all over the place. And we actually went with one of the lowest value term sheets because of who it was and what we were going to be able to get. It's like you watch Shark Tank and Mark Cuban says, "Yeah, I might be offering you less than you want, but you get to work with me and think of how much quickly I'm going to be able to, grow our business." And so we went with the lower valuation, and it was the best decision I've ever made, ever to this day. That was when we started working with Jeff Vinik, the owner of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he's been an amazing. He actually told me we were. I remember negotiating, and we were on the phone. And he just said, "Listen, Ed, if we do this deal, I'm going to fight so hard for you. I'm going to work so hard for you. I'm going to be the best partner that you could have ever have. Um, and you're going to take a slightly lower valuation, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be a great partner." And he has lived up to that. Anytime I've ever needed anything from him, whether it be patience, whether it be him getting a phone call to somebody else for me, he has been a world-class partner.
So can you tell me a story of where the value of Jeff as an investor played out? Like, I'd love to know a specific story, if it's in a boardroom somewhere where Jeff stood up and said, "You guys are getting it wrong." I'd love to just hear, because a lot of investors will give you a shoulder to cry on. A lot of investors will be thoughtful leaders and so forth. But you've really gone out on a limb and said, no, Jeff was unbelievable. So tell me a story about something specific he did that really made you feel so passionately loyal to Jeff in particular.
So he's probably one of the most prolific fund managers out there for people who don't know him, right? He was up at the Fidelity Magellan Fund. After that, he had his own fund, 100% return in 1 year. Just everything he touches is very successful. But the other thing that I had heard reputation-wise was just what a quality human being he was. And so because of that, you have someone who's very successful, but also is just a good person. People trip over to try to do business with him. And I knew this to some extent, but I had never fully grasped what it would mean. When we got that investment from him, at the time, it was one of the most amount of dollars he'd put into a startup, a pure startup. Everyone wanted to do business with us. We subsequently got the owner of the Boston Celtics, 𝙁𝙊𝙇𝙊𝙁, to invest and join our board, literally off of the fact that Jeff had invested and joined our board. And, 𝙁𝙊𝙇 being in Boston, Jeff had been in Boston. I think 𝙁𝙊𝙇 saw the opportunity. Man, join a startup board with Jeff Vinik. How's that a bad thing, right? It isn't. And simply having Jeff's seal of approval, 𝙁𝙊𝙇's just one example. And 𝙁𝙊𝙇 and I have gone on to be good friends, and he's been great to me as well. But Jeff's approval means a lot to the industry, and he doesn't pick his deals lightly. And it was such a great seal of approval. And so that's externally, but internally, he's always been very direct and candid, but does so truly in a safe place where you say, okay, he just called me out or just called out something that is unfavorable that the company is doing, but it is not, he's never seeking to penalize or gain something out of it. It's like, hey, I wanted to make sure you saw this. What can we do about it? And he is always willing to help, give resources, make sure his staff's available if we need help to kind of review things. So he is just a very fair person.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video. If you love today's video, then I bet you're going to absolutely love John Warrillow's best-selling book, Built to Sell. It's been endorsed by entrepreneurs such as Seth Godin, Bo Burlingham, Patrick Bet-David, Tim Ferriss, and many more. And guess what? You can grab a free copy of this book. All you have to do is head over to builttosell.com to grab your free copy today.